guess Dave, just right out of the gate, very aggressive, very active. Just what were you trying to do with the number of signings you had there?
I don't know about very aggressive. We had a plan, and we tried to address certain areas of our team and where we thought we could make it better. And, this free agency window is kind of weird because we felt like we kind of already had everything was in place, and it was just more about hold your breath and see if the things you'd agreed upon come to fruition once 10 o'clock struck today. So we were organized, we were on it, and I think our guys are excited to be here. And you put Adam Konar in that group as well. I think we've done some things that will hopefully make our team better.
Can we just ask about one guy we're not sure of? A story online today about Ricky Walker, who you agreed
Yeah.
to terms with?
So I was texting with Rick this morning because I didn't want to speak on his behalf. Basically, we agreed to terms, and he was excited to come, but it just doesn't look like the CFL is in the cards for Rick at the moment. And, I'm not going to sign a guy and retire a guy. That just doesn't make sense. But had a great conversation with him. I think he's a real good football player and a guy we were interested in. But when he was talking with his wife and his family, it just doesn't look like CFL is going to happen. And we'll stay in touch and see where it goes from there.
Obviously, like Matthews stands out. So why'd you target him, and where are you hoping he brings to the fold?
We definitely looked. We want to make each room better. So when I say room, each position, we wanted to try to find maybe some skill sets that we don't have. And it doesn't matter that when we sign these guys, everybody's under the awareness that it's competition. So it's the same thing in all facets. So got a big. I talked to Bo on it as far as when it happened. Bo hit me up, and some good things from Bo, and we did our research. I like what he gets. Let him compete and see where he goes from there.
What about a guy like DeMario, a guy who's makes some big plays back there?
Yeah, I think Jake texted DeMario and said you're welcome because Jake threw a couple picks his way last year. Remember, a guy named Brian Clark. I think I had 7 interceptions one year. He had 4 of them, so I always told him he owed part of his contract to me, but didn't work out for me on that end. So, no, I think he's a good player. He's confident. What we didn't have is interceptions. You guys are working hard in the back end, and it's got to be. It's got to start from the front, and it's got to go all the way to the back end. We just got to make more turnovers. And the guy that leads the league in interceptions and still missed 3 games and had 3 fumble recoveries, plays with a lot of confidence, and did well against us. I mean, I guess you look at all the games, when a guy really shows up against you, and then it does certainly, I guess, turn the tides a little bit when you're looking at other players. You remember he played well against us, and that'd be a guy we'd want on our team.
So you get Tate, does that kind of stabilize the tackle position, which was kind of a revolving door last year?
We hope so. I think he's a good talent, and I don't think he necessarily found his home in Toronto. I think he'll have to compete, like we talked about with Salim. On our room it's full competition, but I'd like to give him the opportunity to go where he's comfortable, left or right, evaluate him, and he'll have an opportunity to be our starter.
What might the effect on Jake be in having that competition and a veteran in Matthew in the same room?
Well, I'm actually very confident Jake's going to have a great year. He came up for my camps this January. He looks good. He's feeling good. Sometimes you have your first kid and your first start, and it didn't go as well. Things can snowball a little bit. I just feel like he's at peace and he's doing all the right things, and now it's our job to put better pieces around him and do a better job coaching him and getting him in positions to succeed. So very confident that Jake's going to have a heck of a year. But we want as strong a room as possible. We got a lot of quarterbacks under contract right now. I got to figure that out, how we're going to get reps and that sort of stuff. But I'd rather have those options than not enough. So we'll see how it plays out.
You said you had a
couple
plan?
of Micah's at linebacker now. Can you just talk about why you brought Ollie back
Okay.
and what you see in tights?
Yeah, so some of the guys wanted to test the window and see where their market value was at. And Micah's story was, we wanted him back. We weren't sure what that market was either. And once guys get to the window, sometimes finances change. And so I know for Micah, he deserves a better contract than he got. But he wasn't really one of those guys I'm worried about not showing up prepared and motivated and being a leader. So we had a good talk, and I told him what we could do, and we wanted him back, and I let him kind of chew on it for 24 hours, and he's full go. We're really excited to get him back. And, all the talk out there, because I read the stuff too, he hits with his head, and, and he's going to be suspended. We're going to work on it. We really are. And Micah's fully committed to trying to take that out of his game because we want him to play every game. But you look at what we did on the field and produced. We really had a lot of production, and he did a great job. So Bob Slowick is super excited to get that linebacking group back together. And then bringing in the two Canadians, obviously with that, two dinos, you'll talk to Micah here in a second, and also Adam Konar. I just feel like we got actually guys that can start, can play defense, and make an impact on special teams. So I think the competition to play is going to really spur on that group. And we know Cam Judge is as good as any, but I feel very confident we have some Canadians pushing that can actually play and make impacts on not only special teams as defense. So for us, that was a big upgrade.
They've kind of a two-parter with Walker retiring. There's an opening on the roster. You also didn't come to terms, at least as far as we know, with Derek Wiggins. Is there any chance of revisiting? I don't know where it stands. I know he was reported to have signed, but until that happens, I don't know just wherever that stands.
Well, I've had, I'm not one to kind of shy away from tough conversations. I try to call the guys fully aware that it might not be going our way. And I have spoke with Wiggs multiple times through the process. And, Wiggs won't be here this year. He's going to be in Montreal. And we just want to thank him for what he did for our club. And it was a tough decision. Same thing, went to the window. Finances can change. Business is business. He understands it. He's working in the city. And like I said, I'm not sure we won't see Derek Wiggins in red and white again, but probably won't happen certainly at the beginning of this year. So we wish him well. Multiple guys that went to different teams, but we felt like we were 6-12. We got to make changes and find areas of our team to improve. We also have some young players. It's time for them to rise up and get some more playing time, some meaningful playing time, and that's the direction we went.
Dave, you said you went in with a plan. Like, did the plan come together the way you sort of saw it?
Well, we have multiple plans. Like, we don't know what it's going to cost. We don't know if we're going to get this guy or that guy. But we broke it down by, positional need and where we thought we needed to work our team. And we filled the pieces of puzzles that we thought we had to. We wanted to make our DB group, we want some ball hawks. We were able to sign a lot of guys. I think that's probably where I should have led off is, well, a lot of our players came back. They are very hungry. They're excited for an opportunity. And so we feel like we got most of the guys back that can make a big impact. So we did that, made our quarterback room better. We know our offensive tackles better. We needed better help on Canadian special teams, and we needed better depth at Canadian starters in our defense. So we've done that. And then now it's our job to find young talent, Americans that will make our team a lot better. And we feel like the league will be better, CFL in general, because there will be more players up here this year, and those are exciting things for us.
Dave,
Does that mean that the players currently unsigned that made it to free agency, are the Stampeders kind of saying that's
Doors closed?
The door's closed on,
No.
on those players?
No, I mean, I've talked to a couple of the other ones, but if they have a contract in place, then that's where they're going to go. And I'm not sure exactly who. We were on it, like 10 a.m. We were on it. Our contracts were there, signed, delivered. We know what we wanted to do, and then whoever else is out there, we're going to keep the conversations available to chat. It's not like we have a lot of money left, but we do know we have some other guys that we'd welcome back. Just the number didn't fit at that time. So been in contact with most, if not all. Certainly veteran guys, you got to be a little careful. Anyone that gets hurt in training camp, you own. That's part of the deal. But you do want to have enough veterans that you're pushing and then bring in that youth, those young guys to really kind of fit in and give you the energy, and maybe you find that next superstar.
when it comes to intangibles, like it seemed like maybe that was an area that lacked a little bit last season. People said the room was quiet. Like, how do you go about, like, did you feel that way, or how do you go about targeting certain intangibles in free agency?
Yeah, I don't really know room is quiet bit. When you lose, it should be quiet. But I feel like I thought the room was solid. In fact, I didn't feel like anybody ever gave up. Everybody was fully committed. We just didn't win enough games. So I thought we had high character guys, and we brought in more. The first thing I look at, too, is how do you fit in and do you love football? Because no one's going to be paid well enough to just retire, so you got to love the game. And then you're right, you do look at who are your leaders on your group. which position group and then who has that strong voice. But also, I don't want anyone to feel overly comfortable. I want everybody to understand we got to go. So we had a bunch of injuries last year, so these guys still up in the air. I'm seeing Jalen Philpott's in there working out right now. We feel like there's some guys that didn't even play at all last year that should make us better. And I think we're going to have a strong character group. I think we're going to work extremely hard. I think we'll be hungry. Now we just got to go produce and win games.
Are you pretty comfortable with your group of receivers right now?
I am. I like our group, actually. I love our Canadians. We've always been able to find receivers in the draft. Really haven't, for us at least, we haven't had that guy that gets that big second contract Canadian-wise. We've been able to find guys do a nice job in the draft. And then our American guys, I believe, have you got fast guys, you got quick twitch guys, you got tough guys, you got workhorses, you got guys that are proven. And then we'll have a bunch of young guys that'll come in. And a couple of those need to step up and show us and be that next generation, because we are aging a little bit as a team with our superstars. We need some of the young guys to just take advantage of the opportunity and become that next all-star.
With Philpott and Barnes, are you expecting to see 3 Canadian receivers?
I think I got that chance. I think I got that opportunity, but I'm not expecting it. I'm good with Markin. I think Markin Michel was a guy that can play anywhere. I mean, I think he can play some running back. He's very versatile, and he's smart, extremely hard worker. And then I would like to think Malik would be back to being, one of the top 5-10 guys in the entire league, and Reggie was that guy for his whole career. So we've got those 3 Americans, and now where do you fit the other Canadians? But I definitely see your point in ratio flexibility, because Cole Tucker did a nice job, and we brought Tyson Middlemost back, and we want to give him a shot at receiver as well. He just hasn't had the opportunity, so I do think we'll add pieces, no doubt about it, but like that group.
Did you have conversations with Kadeem Carey?
Yep, yeah, and it went actually really well. It was for him and I mean, it was certainly, like I said, I don't shy away from conversations where I know the answer is not what he wants to hear, but very complimentary of our team and our coaches and our organization, very appreciative, and yet he wanted to be back, and but he lives life to the fullest, and he'll go keep playing and make somebody else a better team. But I'm confident in Dedrick Mills. I think it was his time he's younger and stayed a little healthier and has a lot of the same attributes. So we'll make that room a good room as well. We're still out there looking, so I do think the running back room certainly will change without Kadeem, but I feel good about it.
How about Ryan Sevier?
Well, we've talked, but Ryan doesn't have a contract at this moment that I'm aware of, but we're still in conversation. Him and I talked. I know he has an agent, so we don't talk numbers, but Seves is a local guy, and we just got to let that kind of play out.
You talked about the tackle position and Trevon Tate. Do you like the players you have signed right now on that O-line still?
Yeah, well, the one big question mark for us is Bryce Bell. We think it's time for Bryce to step up and be a full-time starter. We didn't necessarily mean it has to be at guard. He'd done it at tackle as well, but Bryce had off-season surgery, shoulder surgery, which was a big surgery. So we have to see where he fits in when camp starts, and that'll tell us a lot about our starting lineup. And we're going to try to add pieces like we always do. One thing about those are the hardest guys to find. That's why signing Trevon, I think, was a big impact for our team. Is I do believe I've got a player there, and looking forward to seeing him compete.
Do you know if James Waters has been able to kind of get his normal recovery going, or how's he doing?
Well, nobody works harder than James. Nobody. And I'm confident saying that. I know maybe some of the other guys on the team are like, hang on here. But no, trust me, he'll be as ready as he can possibly be. I enjoyed, I texted him, with Black History Month. I thought he did an outstanding job representing what we're about. And just love that type of person on your team. And guess what? If he was playing the whole year, I think our team has a different story last year. I think he's that good and that important to our team. So no pressure on James there with that comment. But, I do like our group, and I think he's got to be that guy that takes his game to the next level, and he'll put the work in. Hopefully it falls in place.